Hello, welcome back to the channel. This is one of the community racing festival races from December. This is on the Coastal Crown Loop, which is a pretty good route. It's pretty challenging because you get this lead-in. The lead-in's flat, and then you have to climb the Mayan extension onto the grade. The first part of the climb is part of the lead-in, so you get to do it twice. Which it's not too bad. I enjoyed this route because this climb, it's about 10 minutes for the pace and power that I do. It's about 10 minutes to do it, but it's in different pieces, and it's kind of, there's more tactics to it than you think, than just, you know, hammer on and go, like similar like the grade or even the epic, to where it's just all about the power. It's kind of similar to the volcano because it's not steep enough. The second half is not truly steep enough to lose the draft. So if you can make it up the first climb, and that's my goal on this, is just kind of hang in and see what I can do, see who I can stay with. All of these guys are pretty talented. They're all much stronger than me. So my full goal is just stay with them and not get dropped. And I was hoping for an easy lead-in. This is early in the morning. You could tell whenever I'm wearing my glasses riding, it's an early morning ride. I don't like put my contacts in right off the bat when I get up. Normally I only wear them in the evenings, so. Coming through here, and one of my last videos, this sprint section here is I covered. It's kind of tricky. It's not as straightforward because of the bends and the little incline right here, the little bump that you go over across this bridge makes it kind of a challenging sprint to time it. That's all right. So far we're just covering moves. I'm just trying to stay in zone 2 as much as possible, get warmed up. I did cover one move because I really shouldn't have, but that was kind of a wasted match. There was no reason for me to cover that because we were all so close together. Now here, this part of the climb from here up, this 2-kilometer section, it's all part of the lead-in. So to be even part of the race, to even get anywhere, this is where you just kind of, you got to do what you got to do to stay with the group, because that second part of the climb, it's not as steep, and the draft is in effect much more than this section. I know coming up right here, I really have to push it just to stay with this group right here. They get a little gap, but I gotta do what I have to do in order to stay with this. So this last section, I pushed pretty hard. I managed to stick with the group, which is excellent. And then coming through here, the main thing is trying to find somewhere to draft so I can recover. Now this starts the second part of the climb, and it's kind of a rolling climb. It really only pitches up with the last part of it, because you got a little roller here, and then you can see over the next maybe kilometers just rolling up and down. Now you will see here that I misjudge right here kind of what they're going to do, and that ultimately gets me dropped. But it's just that small little, I guess, lapse in paying attention or guessing what they're going to do. That's all it took. I mean, these guys are already pushing super high pace, and you could tell that I'm doing less watts per kilogram, so that draft still is in full effect. But look right here, see, they hit 7 in the 6 upper 5s, and I don't respond fast enough, because on the last few rollers they didn't get that high. Well, this one, a couple of them really dropped the hammer, and I didn't hit hard enough. I didn't respond, and that was it. That 1-2 seconds where I I kind of let, hoping someone else would fill the gap. I didn't put enough power down to keep a hold of the draft, and that was ultimately what got me dropped here. So this is where what I do in a race. Okay, so these guys are going off the front here. They dropped me. I would not have been able to stay with them because they are pushing 6.0 and above for a lot of this, and that's beyond my capability currently. So this is where in any Zwift ride, whether it's a group ride or a race, you kind of switch your mentality. The original goal was stay with the front, do what I had to do to stay there. Well, I didn't follow the move right. I just didn't attack that roller correctly. I don't think it would have mattered. I think they would have dropped me on that last section right there anyway. So my goal is not to let KM catch me and do my workout. And we can see here as we bomb down the grade, the Super Tuck bug is was still active here. We hit 90 kilometers an hour, which was a bug in certain areas with the Super Tuck, but it's now fixed. It is now fixed. So this is just a video highlight of an old Zwift bug. So now the goal is keeping KM behind me and just doing some solid threshold, sweet spot to threshold work. And that's just one of the things you got to do. Yeah, it sucks you got dropped, but you also have to look at it as what the ultimate goal is to improve. And all the races and events that I do, I come in with two goals basically. One is obviously do as good as possible, and the second is the workout. And sometimes you get in this, and this happened to me recently. You do a whole bunch of races, but your fitness just plateaus. And it's because you are racing, you're doing some hard efforts, but you're not actually training. And that's the fun part. I enjoy racing, so why hop in the races? But my fitness just kind of plateaus. So that's kind of a downfall to Zwift, honestly, is there's so many races, so many events that it's very easy to get sucked into. Oh, I'll just do, whatever. I'll just do this race, not worry about the workout. I'll get a workout in the race. But for me personally, I don't improve a whole lot in that situation. And I know I was talking right there, you may not have noticed, but I was like 3 seconds off on that, almost caught back up, and that group of 4 lit it up right there and just put me off the back, because they were hovering about the same watts per kilogram, a little bit less, and I was just trying to reel them back in, but they hit that bump pretty hard and just took off. And that was at that moment that I knew basically there's no way I can catch them. Like, they are much stronger than me. So we're dropping down this little descent, and we're going to take a 2-kilometer climb up that Mayan mountainside climb back to the finish. And it looks like, unless KM really does something special here, I will do my secondary goal of not letting KM catch me, and then getting some pretty decent workout. Got a good chunk of VO2, and then the threshold here. And at this point of the race, basically all I gotta do is kind of watch KM, watch his watts per kilogram, just make sure he is charging up this pretty hard, because my heart rate's low 170s, which is very typical for me at this point. When I'm pushing the pace, it's a very typical rate, that low 170s, maybe 175. If I get over 175, that's when I'm really hurting. So all I'm worried about is just keeping him behind me. It's all working. And we're just going to take it up to the finish. I know I didn't do necessarily well in this race, like, finishing in the bottom part, the bottom half, but hey, I got a good workout in. I misread one little move, and that's all it took. However, I think once it got up to that stone bridge and hit those switchbacks where it's steep, I don't think I would have been able to stay with them anyway. But that was a pretty decent race. And having so many events on Zwift, you know, every hour for these community events, a lot of people do show up for them. So it is nice that you kind of always know that you'll get a handful of people to race, get a nice ride in. But you can see from the watts per kilogram right there, you know, I was at like, what, 3.7, 3.8, and everyone else was 4.2 and above. So they were definitely stronger than me. But within within the draft dynamics of Zwift, it's easier to be a lower watts per kilogram rider and stick with the group like that. But this is a challenging course. It's fun. There's two pieces to the puzzle. Well, three if you count the flat loop, the flat coastal section, but you got two different kind of climbs here that make it just a little challenging. But I enjoyed this course. I hope you guys enjoyed the race. I did, even though I didn't win, well, not even in the podium. It was still a good workout. It pushed me, and it's all part of the building blocks and the fun of Zwift. All right, thank you very much. Have a good day.